The invitation arrived late, not late in the sense of timing, but in importance. It was addressed to me alone, sent to my work email, marked members event. No plus ones, no family mentions, just my name and a time. I stared at it longer than I should have. For years, my family had treated places like this as symbols, clubs, events, rooms that meant arrival. They believed access itself was success. If you could walk in, you mattered. If you couldn't, you didn't. I'd learned to stop arguing with that belief. I simply stopped sharing details. The night of the party, my phone wouldn't stop buzzing. My mother texted first. "What time should we reach?" I frowned. "Reach where?" I replied. She sent a photo. My family stood in front of a mirror, new outfits, unfamiliar confidence. My father in a tailored jacket he'd never worn before. My siblings adjusting collars, smiling too hard. "The members' party," she wrote. "We'll meet you inside." My stomach tightened. I typed slowly. "It's invite only." The typing bubble appeared, disappeared, appeared again. "We know," my brother replied. "That's why we dressed properly." I didn't answer. Not because I didn't know what to say, but because I knew what would happen. I arrived alone. The venue was quiet on the outside, understated in a way that made loud confidence look foolish. Inside, everything was soft light and low voices. Names were checked quickly, access granted with a nod. When I gave my name, the host smiled. "Welcome," she said. "We've been expecting you." I stepped inside. 10 minutes later, my phone buzzed again. This time, it was frantic. "Where are you? They're not letting us in. Come tell them we're with you." I looked toward the entrance. Through the glass doors, I could see them. My family stood in a tight cluster, confusion replacing excitement. A security guard stood calmly in front of them, one hand raised, not aggressive, just firm. I didn't move. I watched. My mother gestured toward the inside, her smile forced now. My father leaned forward, saying something I couldn't hear. My brother pointed at his shoes, as if effort alone should count for something. The guard shook his head. He wasn't rude. He wasn't loud. He was unmoved. I felt something shift inside me, not satisfaction, not anger. Recognition. This was the moment I'd spent years preparing for without knowing it. Another message came through. "Please come here. This is embarrassing." I typed back one sentence. "I told you it was invite only." 3 dots appeared, then nothing. I didn't rush over. I didn't explain. I stayed where I was, holding a glass I hadn't tasted, listening to conversations that didn't try to impress anyone. No one asked who I came with. No one cared. For the first time, neither did I through the glass. I saw my family step back. The excitement drained completely now. My mother crossed her arms. My father looked down. My brother laughed awkwardly, too loudly. Security didn't follow them. He didn't need to. As they walked away, I realized something quietly devastating. They hadn't come for me. They'd come for the door. I didn't leave the party early. That surprised me. In the past, discomfort had always chased me out of places where my family felt unwelcome. I'd learned to read their moods, anticipate their embarrassment, soften situations before they became scenes. Tonight, I stayed, not out of defiance, but because I finally understood that their discomfort wasn't mine to manage. I put my phone face down on the table and let the music wash over me. Conversations drifted in and out, about work, travel, ideas that didn't need to prove anything. No one asked for validation. No one performed success. It felt unfamiliar in the best way. When I got home later that night, the house was quiet. Too quiet. The lights in the living room were on. Everyone was awake. My mother stood up the moment I entered. "Why didn't you come out?" she asked, trying to keep her voice steady. "I was inside," I said. "That's not what I meant," my father added. "Why didn't you help us?" I set my bag down slowly. "Help with what?" "With getting in," my brother snapped. "You could have told them we were your family." I looked at him. "And say what? That the rules shouldn't apply?" Silence. My mother sighed. "We bought those clothes for this. We didn't know it would be like that." "That's the problem," I said quietly. "You thought clothes were the requirement." My father frowned. "So you're saying we didn't belong?" I met his eyes. "I'm saying you weren't invited." The words hung there, heavier than I expected. They took turns explaining how they'd imagined walking in together, how proud they'd felt getting ready, how humiliating it was to be stopped at the door. I listened, really listened, and for the first time, I didn't rush to fix the feeling. "Do you know how many times," I asked softly, "I stood outside rooms like that without saying a word?" My mother opened her mouth, then closed it. I didn't complain, I continued. I didn't ask you to come rescue me. I learned the rules and played within them. My brother scoffed. So what, this was a lesson? No, I said. It was a boundary. The next few days were uncomfortable. No shouting, no dramatic fights, just distance. They spoke to me carefully, as if testing a new version of me they didn't recognize yet. I noticed how often they framed things as what we should do, how we should move forward. I didn't correct them, I just stopped automatically agreeing. A week later, my mother came into my room and sat on the edge of the bed. I didn't realize, she said slowly, how much you've been carrying alone. I nodded. I didn't either. Not until I stopped. She looked at me. We thought if one of us got in, it meant all of us had arrived. I smiled faintly. That's not how it works. She didn't argue. That felt like progress. At work, something shifted too. People started treating me differently, not because of the event, but because I no longer explained myself. I spoke plainly. I declined politely. I didn't overextend. Access followed clarity, not the other way around. One evening, as I passed the same venue on my way home, I slowed down. The doors were closed, the lights dim. I thought about how my family had stood outside, convinced the right appearance would open anything. I thought about how long I believed the same thing. That night hadn't shut a door. It had shown me which ones were mine to open. The change didn't announce itself. It settled in quietly. I stopped updating my family on where I was going and why. Not out of secrecy, but because I no longer felt the need to justify my access to anything. Invitations became mine alone. Decisions too. At first, they noticed. Where are you heading tonight? Who's going with you? I answered simply. Sometimes I didn't answer at all. The questions faded. A month later, another event came up. Smaller, quieter, no photos, no buzzwords, just a note asking if I'd like to attend. I said yes. This time, I didn't mention it at home. When I left, my mother looked up from the couch. Out again? Yes, I said, tying my shoes. She hesitated. Is it another one of those places? I paused, then nodded. Yes. She waited, expecting an explanation. I didn't give one. I closed the door gently behind me. The venue was different, but the feeling was the same. No spectacle. No effort to impress. Just people who understood why they were there. I realized then that the real difference wasn't the door. It was who felt entitled to stand behind it. At home, the shift continued. My family stopped assuming I would pull them into rooms they hadn't earned. They stopped dressing for doors that weren't meant for them. Conversations changed, from access to acceptance. Not perfect, but honest. One night, my father said something unexpected. You didn't embarrass us, he admitted. We embarrassed ourselves. I looked at him, surprised. We thought being close to you meant we belonged everywhere you did, he continued. That wasn't fair. No, I said softly. It wasn't. He nodded. That was enough. Months later, my brother joked about the outfits they'd bought for the party. They're still in the closet, he said. Guess they weren't magic after all. I smiled. Clothes never were. Sometimes I think back to that first night, the glass doors, the security guard, the confusion on their faces. It could have ended in anger. It didn't. It ended in clarity. They bought new outfits for a members' party. Security blocked them at the door. And in that quiet moment, I finally understood something I'd missed for years. Belonging isn't something you wear. It's something you're invited into. And once you learn that, you stop trying to bring everyone with you.